Hey there, it's Brett, or Dave Does, from obviously the ADK. I wanted to give you an update, just for those that are even remotely interested. Many of you won't be, but for those that are, we posted up I did a video post a couple of weeks back about how we were basically putting everything on hold on ADK whilst I sorted my health out. So we've got some health updates and we've got some plans for ADK content coming up. But I just wanted to give you an update about the health because I thought it was actually quite interesting, and it might actually help some other people plan or deal with some of their own health problems. In just a recap of what was going on, so I was having digestive problems, for serious fatigue. You get a lot of people refer to as long-term COVID, but because it's sporadic and it goes up and down, I didn't think it was down to that. So wanted to kind of investigate it, get to the bottom of it. Went to the doctors sent me off a blood test and sort of digestive tests, which is obviously what you send stool samples off, etc. But in the meantime, I decided to do a food intolerance test, which I thought would be interesting because of the fact I was having stomach problems. And this is where it gets more interesting for me, because 12 months ago I was diagnosed with having gout, so I had to cut several foods out of my diet, even though I was on medication. I had to cut a load of food out from that. 6 months after that, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, so I cut a load of foods out from that. And then in the recent one, I still had high blood pressure, plus then digestive problems. So problems have just compounded on each other. So what was very interesting for me was the intolerance test came back. So the foods that I'd cut out from my gout, for in relation to gout, were foods that were really good for keeping your blood pressure under control and for things like managing cholesterol and stuff like that. All these lovely foods like that, but they were gout triggers. So I'd cut all of that out. Wasn't a big red meat eater anyway, so cutting that out left me with very limited choices, as I don't like oily fish. I've tried many times, don't get on with it. So I was very, very limited, and really fish-wise, I was eating haddock, I was eating chicken, hit my microphone as well, chicken, turkey, sometimes duck, which is a bit more oily duck. Stuff like that would be my normal food, plus dairy products. So when I got the intolerances back, I find out that I'm highly intolerant of haddock, and I have intolerances to all poultry, which was causing me massive problems with my stomach because it was the only food I was eating. It was where I was trying to get my protein from. I then because I've then switched over to a protein-based diet in the sense of lots of protein shake type things to boost up my energy levels because I wasn't getting enough protein in my diet. What that's also increased is my trans fats and my carbohydrates, I think it is, trans fats and triglycerides, which is obviously a potential issue for cholesterol. So I've had to then try and work this out. So at the moment I'm working through this whole transition of work to do. So the other thing about this food intolerance thing that came out was it tells you everything from about your environmental triggers, but also your vitamins, minerals, things that your body's lacking, really need to look into. Generally I was across the board pretty good, but there were a few things that my stomach bacteria was low, so I needed a pro and a prebiotic. There was the CQ10 enzyme that I was missing from my body. Folic acid is another one that I'm low on, which I've never really thought that I needed, but you should be getting that from natural foods, but because of my restricted diet I wasn't getting it. So now I'll show you a picture. These are the tablets that I take every single morning to balance myself out. On top of that, I have this lovely... This is today's one. This is today's concoction. So this one is oranges, cucumber, and blueberries juice. Not pulp. It's got all the pulp in there as well. Naturally sweet, bit bitter, but great for me to sort of get into. And my breakfast this morning was porridge oats with a banana and some additional protein powder added into the oats to boost my energies. And then I'll have something a bit later on today. So that's how I try and balance this out. But it's very challenging so I've got to play this game now where I've got to have a little bit of red meat to give me certain elements. I can't really do the poultry, but I've got to try and find some oily fish. I'm going to have to bring things like tuna back into my diet because it's something I enjoy. But it was bad for my gout, but if I can bring the levels right along with my gout medication, I should be able to do that, and that will help against some things like my high blood pressure. So all of these things means that at least my energy levels are back, feeling a lot more positive, a lot more capable, but do suffer from every time spikes. So trying to eat certain foods means you get these weird sugar spikes from time to time, which absolutely kill my feet and cause my joints to hurt, because I was getting quite close to getting into the risk of potential diabetes. I managed to pull that back, but there's always that risk that's going up. And the main thing I've got to now do is try and work on my trans fats issues and make sure I get that under control. So moving some of the things like cheeses to low fat cheeses and soft cheeses, stuff like that, where I can make it more manageable. But I'm hoping that will help give some people some ideas, and hopefully people will also, where you might be feeling a bit run down or you might have some stomach discomfort, do a food intolerance test. I think mine was like £25. You send some hair samples off and they send you this massive long 18-page report. It's really, really worth doing. It gives you some really good insights and it gives you an idea of where to go and make some changes. And as soon as I've started making changes and boosted up all my different tablets I have to have, feel a lot more positive about that. As far as ADK, we are coming back for YouTube well, I should say, yeah, gigs are still going on for the rest of this year. As far as 2026, no plans at present. That's still under review whether we will continue going. So a lot of that will be down to whether or not we can really boost the turnouts for the remaining shows of this year. If we can get some decent crowds down for these ones, then yeah, maybe we'll continue them in 2026, but it's very, very tough going out there at the moment. And obviously we'd like to keep promoting nights for bands, giving more people a chance to showcase their amazing talents, but obviously it requires people to attend and come out and watch these bands. So it's a challenge. So we'll see what we can do for the rest of the year, and keep your eyes peeled. But I'm sure by the time we get to September time, we'll have a much better idea of if 2026 we will continue doing live shows. We are going to be bringing some new content back to the ADK YouTube. For those that do watch the YouTube channel, which is obviously where all this started. So Andy will be putting all of his live clips. He's great at collecting live clips from all the shows he's been to over the years, so we're going to be putting those all up for people on YouTube, promoting those bands. Lots of grassroots bands going to be going on there. Kirk will continue his Tales from the Underground series, where he interviews artists from the underground scene. Not just the underground scene, some of the more established acts as well. We will continue to endeavour to get interviews with some of the larger acts as well. And the other two things we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing more retrospective looks back at classic albums and other, I guess, maybe albums that are really important to one of us in the group and the other two people, just to kind of bring up some really detailed discussions around these albums, which we think would be quite interesting. We've got a couple of albums planned in. I know we've got, so the first two albums we're looking at are going to be Paradise Lost's Draconian Times, as that's coming up to 35-year anniversary, and we're also going back to look at Corrosion of Conformity's Deliverance album, which is my pick for one of the best albums of all time, but doesn't get enough respect or love, I think, so we're going to be looking at that. And the other series we're going to be doing is the History of series, which will be a more documentary style, where we'll be doing the history of bands, and it's really just for people who are fans of bands and want to get a little bit more knowledge in a more of a, rather than reading it, you can kind of get it all in one video. So yeah, they're all planned in for the future. Thank you very much. Even if you're watching this on the ADK or Facebook page, but if you're not watching on the ADK Facebook page, maybe you're watching on the ADK YouTube channel, or maybe you're watching on the David Brett Facebook page. Either way, thank you very much, and yeah, see you soon.